I make good tea. Okay, cool. So, hello. Another diary entry. I was talking to my best friend, and we were talking about sexual consent. And we were speaking. I just started with started at 100, but that's okay. And we were speaking about things that we wish we knew earlier as women, about autonomy over your body, about feeling pressured, just about different things. That's not what this video is about. I wanted to touch on 5 things I wish I knew earlier about dating. Wish that it would get easier. And I'm gonna be sipping tea in between because I've still got a cold, so I need some kind of heat in my body. Okay, so I didn't realize how much men struggle with lust. I didn't realize how many men struggle with porn. I didn't realize how many men struggled. I don't know if I say the M word, if it will get censored, or I don't know the things I can say, but there are lots of things that men struggle with. I grew up without a father. We are friends now, which is lovely. But this guy called Devon Franklin released a book a few years ago, something like Men Are Dogs. I can't remember the name of it. And I was very confused. I said, what kind of derogatory title is this? What kind of term is this? But I found a free PDF and I skimmed it and I was like, okay. It was the first time I've been introduced to, and especially him, because he's seen as like a stand-up guy. He was celibate for like a million years and all of that. So pardon me, him coming up with this, I thought, oh, is this you too? Like, you struggle with this as well? Okay. I didn't even think it was a thing. It just never crossed my mind. I lived a very sheltered, naive existence. Like, when it comes to sex, I wasn't exposed to that stuff for a long time. So yeah, I didn't know how men thought, how they think, how easy it is for their eyes to just be going left and right, and how much of a struggle it can be for them to have maybe an Instagram or just to walk down the street, or how much testosterone can dictate their thoughts, you know? I had no idea. And as a woman, when you understand how men think, it can help you to navigate your relationships and your interactions with them. It's not to just reduce a man to his sexual drive. No, they are whole beings with emotions and feelings, and God has imparted wonderful things in them, and they are whole the way that we are whole, and they have emotions the way that we have emotions. But when it comes to this sex thing, I know girls that have high sex drive, that's great, but specifically for men, there's something on them. And I think if I'd known that, and the reality of, you know, how they think, I think I would have valued my body more. And I think I would have seen through certain lies more. And I think I wouldn't have dressed as provocatively as I did when I was a teenager, because I had no idea how men thought. And my modesty journey would have started a lot earlier. And I would have moved different. We'll just keep it there. I would have moved different, knowing that I could be used for my body, because I wasn't aware of that. Like, if guys were nice, I was like, oh my gosh, he loves me and he cares and he wants to be with me. Like, I was so dumb. Yeah, so growing up without a father, I didn't so I had that talk. Let me go back to my story, because I've gone in so many different directions. So I skimmed that book when I was 24. And then I met up with my dad and I asked him, I was like, how did men think? And then he broke it down for me and I said, I swear. I said, here's it. I said, wow. He was like, yeah. And I was like, whoa, I really didn't know how visual you lot were. And I know it sounds like, Tommy, have you been living under a rock? Yes, I have. The rock of Christ. No, I'm joking. But I literally had no idea. And I wish a man would have explained to me how men think. A brother, whatever, or and fathers, please teach your kids, teach your girls, because it really would have changed my life. It really would have. Because I was so naive to so much. But anyway, to so many lies, basically. Let me add to that before I go on to the next one. I'm so sorry about how haggy this is. Never date a man that lacks sexual discipline, whether you're Christian or not. I hope that entered your ears correctly. Never date a man that lacks discipline, So maybe it's he says he's going to do something, he doesn't do it. He's not a man of his word. He doesn't follow through. There's a purpose on his life and he's not walking in it. So discipline in general. And also think about how that translates to his sex life. If he lacks sexual discipline, do not entertain him. And that will become apparent over time. That's something you can't suss out that quickly. But you'll know. Because you are just setting yourself up for heartbreak. And we're dating people for who they are. You need someone that has good character. Someone that loves themselves enough to discipline themselves. Sexual discipline is a must. Third point. Your taste will change as you age. And the essence of some things haven't changed from my 18-year-old list. But some things have. So I would just say, don't make long-term decisions based on your teenage self. And again, the caveat to everything I say is be led by the Spirit of God. If God is telling you to get married at 17, I know people that are like 50 years old and they've been married for like 33 years and they met when they were 17. That's great. But for most people, they are the exception. For most people, it's going to take a bit of time as you grow, as you get into your 20s, as you evolve and change as a woman. The things you can offer and the things you require, they tend to change. And so if you meet someone when you're young, you need to make sure that you can both grow together. But if you're like me and that wasn't your story, allow yourself to change, allow yourself to grow, allow your taste in men to change. For example, for me, kindness and generosity are new words that developed in my 20s. When I was 18, that wasn't on my list. I'm not going to give you, maybe one day actually I'll pull up my list from when I was 18 because I've got it. Then I'll pull up my list from like 2 years ago and we can compare. But now I'm looking for character traits. When I was 18, I wouldn't look at a guy that's under 6 foot. Now, well, okay, I'm not looking now. But things change because you value different things. For example, now, something that's new for me, that's recent in the past maybe 2 years, is I've realized I want a man that is a really hands-on dad and is really present in the home and is also helpful at home. I want a man that every now and then will cook. I want a man that every now and then will help me clean. Okay? Those were not things that I thought of prior because my love language is acts of service. Okay? I'm not saying he has to take on the full responsibility in the household. That's not what I'm saying. But I want someone that helps. A helpful partner. Someone that doesn't see me with a baby and is like, whoa, where's my dinner? When I've stayed up all night with the baby. And you know what I mean? Like those are the marriage, some of the marriages I've seen, some of the marriages I've heard of, and certain situations I've been in, it's like, that's a new thing for me. So the kindness and the generosity, because you can be with a man that has money but he's stingy, those ones have come up maybe like in the past 2 years, and then in the past, yeah, you don't need a timestamp, but basically I've learned how I want a man to interact in the home, and I want a servant leader. I don't want a man that's going to tell me, you're the woman, therefore this is all you do. No, if you see I'm trying my best and I'm doing my best, and I'm exhausted, or I've been to work and it's just been a long day, maybe be like, babe, I've just ordered some takeout for us. I'll even drop the mic if that's the kind of husband I would like. I don't want someone that is just, he comes home earlier than me and then he's still waiting for me to come back to make dinner. And I'm saying this with chest, and I want to put it online because sometimes I do fall back into like whatever a man wants. Like, I want to be the perfect wife. I'm going to do all the cooking and all the cleaning, and there are times where I want to occupy that space, but that's not, deep down, I feel like that would just make me exhausted and resentful. And deep down I have to be honest with myself about my capacity, and deep down I have to be honest with myself about the way I feel loved, and the way I feel loved is a guy that like makes me a cup of tea after a long day. And I've learned that maybe if I want those things, maybe he may not earn that much money, and I'm happy to compromise. But one thing that I will not do is be with a man where the gender roles are so rigid that when you see me suffering, you won't help me with that load. Whether it's you pay for a cleaner if I've got 2 kids under 2, or you cook a meal a week, right? That's the kind of relationship I want, and I didn't know I wanted that. I was very happy when I was younger to be like, let me cater to all of his needs. Like, I just want to pick me. No, I'm different now, and I require different things now, and I expect different things now. And if you're not willing to really be in partnership with me, again, the man is the head of the household. I believe the Bible to be true, inspired by the Holy Spirit. Yes, I respect your position, but don't abuse your position, and don't try and make me overextend myself to a point that there's a word I'm looking for, a point that is unsustainable. So I want a helpful man, and helpful is a new word on my list that I didn't know I wanted or needed until now, and I'm in my mid-20s. So be patient with yourself as you grow as women, as you evolve, as you date, as you encounter. The things you want will change, and that's okay. So be careful about making a decision at 18, you know, when you don't know what your life will look like, when you don't really know what you want. Who knows what they want at 18? Please, all of us are just, especially now, like, young people are even younger than they were. I feel like the internet has just infantilized everyone, or keeps everyone young, and the economy as well. So it's hard for you to leave your parents' house. It's hard for you to live your life. It's hard for you to do different things because we're all distracted, and then we're also financially limited. So we're not able to move in a way that maybe our parents, we don't want to be seeing a shoulder, that maybe our parents would. So that's another thing I learned about dating, is that my taste will change, and what I require and desire will change, and to move with it and flow with it, and not be ashamed. Because even now I'm kind of ashamed to say I want a man that, like, you know, might help me clean every now and then, or might help me cook every now and then, or might employ someone to. But really, I do want, if you're not here to lighten the load a tiny bit, small, of course my job is to serve you and to be your helper, but every now and then, please make it easy to be your helper sometimes. please, I didn't sign up to come in. And I feel really, like, even my hand is like shaking a little bit, like, saying this, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll never be married. No, I've said that I don't want to be a slave in the kitchen. My camera's about to die. Let me die. Interest does not mean intentionality. Okay, maybe I haven't worded that correctly. I wrote this list within 30 seconds because so many things were coming to my brain. But, and even I have one girlfriend that's still in this space where she'll be talking to a guy, maybe communication is inconsistent, and she's like, oh, but like, what's happening? And we all know. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I'm in my late 20s, and I always say this, but I'm actually 26. But I'm proud. I'm like, to me, that I'm in my mid, okay, I'll count it as mid. I'm in my mid-20s. I always claim the lates, but I'm in my mid. And I'm making this because it also comes from a place of compassion and love, but a place of anger. Like, we are too old to be entertaining men that are not serious about us. And not because, oh, your ovaries are gonna shrivel up. No, we serve the author of time. He will open your womb when he wants to, and he will close it when he wants to. So this is not from a place of fear that I must date because, and I must secure the men. And men will try and shove this narrative down your throat that, well, you have to take them as they are because you're almost 30. No, hold on to your standards. You don't need to be compromising, as long as they're inspired by the Lord, of course. Like, listen to God. If God tells you, yes, right? But lots of us are disseminers of anyway, so sometimes it's ourselves and not God, but that's another story. My point is, don't operate from a place of fear, operate from love, okay? Number one. But back to, the age thing, right? So at this point, instead of me having the same conversations with women that I've had, I will send them this video, okay? And hopefully you can gather yourself. I'm not going to go into all the signs that he doesn't like you. Does he like me? Does he not? If you're asking that question, he doesn't like you the way that you like him. And that's just it. And I'm trying to think of how many years of my life I wasted in this situation. If you're talking to your girlfriends all the time and if you're confused, like the author of confusion is the enemy. Like, and I'm not even like, just, it's an enemy of progress. You will not progress in your life if you're constantly confused. So that's one thing I really wish I learned earlier. If you have any, if there's a doubt, a guy that likes you will not leave any room for doubt in your mind that he is about you, that he wants you, that he loves you, that he likes you, right? And make sure you assess that he keeps up that energy for months and months on end. You don't want it to be like at this 3-month point he's kind of getting tired of showing his affection towards you and all of that. So again, I could really dissect this point a lot more and give you instances of, you know, a man that's double-minded, and tell you how he may be showing up in your life that may be planting seeds of doubt. But we don't have time for that. If you're in your mid-20s, you know whether a guy likes you or not. That should not be the question. We should be talking about, you know, other things, discussing other things, not the first step of, is he really about you? Because you know if he likes you or not. And more time it's because you slept with him prematurely, so emotions are involved, or you're just emotionally attached, or you think he's out of your league, or you think you can't do better, or your vision is clouded. So what I suggest to you is you get still, you check in with yourself. If you're a Christian, you pray. If you're not a Christian, you better find some kind of system to help you to find peace, and try and work on your self-esteem. Go to counselling, figure out why you feel, why you're attracting this, and why you feel this is what you deserve. Because I'm too old for my friends to be calling me being like, oh, like, he's not looking. If I hear one more girl tell me he's not looking for a relationship, and you know, and the girl is, at this point I may just hang up the phone, because we're not 18, 19 anymore. Like, come on, that's where I'm at right now. Come on, we're not doing that. If you can't see any congruence between his actions and his words, he needs to go. Don't waste your time. The block button is there for a reason. That's something I wish I would have saved myself a lot of time if someone would have explained that to me. Any doubt, cut him off.